My body knows how to do it.
It's a girl.
As we speak, every second, a woman gives birth somewhere in the world. It may sound ordinary, but for the woman living it, birth is nothing like that.
Welcome to Born to be Wild, the podcast. We call in guests from Portugal and beyond to share real birth stories and lived experiences, and to explore what maternity care really feels like on the ground.
In this podcast, we invite you to listen, question, and sometimes unlearn what pregnancy, birth, and postpartum are supposed to look like.
For us, wild means staying connected to yourself, your body, and your choices, even when systems make that difficult.
So let's begin.
Giulia's first birth in France left her a bit shocked. Nothing about it went the way she had imagined. It was in every sense the opposite of the experience she had hoped for. But soon after, she found herself pregnant again. This time, she and her husband Charles packed up their whole world, dogs, horses, and their entire extended family, and moved to Portugal.
Yes, and for this second birth, Giulia knew exactly what she wanted and also what she didn't want. She was convinced that a home birth was the only way to reclaim her story, to finally feel like she was the author of her own experience rather than the passenger in it. So she prepared like never before, and you will listen to it. She read everything she could find, she studied, she watched documentaries, she really built her case. Because there was also one person she still needed to convince, her husband Charles, who wanted absolutely nothing to do with a home birth.
Yeah, and in this final episode before the summer break, we're bringing you all of Giulia's best tips. She built herself an incredible toolbox along the way. We'll walk you through her preparation, how she managed to win her husband over.
Yeah, and of course, the extraordinary birth story itself. One that, once again, didn't go at all the way she imagined, but turned out even better with a completely unexpected twist for both of her and Charles, her baby who practically slid into the world. Enjoy this episode. Hi, Giulia and Charles. It's so good to have you with us on the podcast today.
Thank you for having us. Very happy to be here.
Thank you, Ava. Hi, Erin.
So Giulia and Charles, before we dive in, can you both briefly introduce yourself? Who are you? Where you're from? Where you live today? Maybe also what you do in life and how many children you have.
So my name is Giulia. I'm French from Paris. I've been living in Ericeira for 1 year and a half now. I built and manage a B2B software company. And I have 2 human children, Bianca, that is 1.5 years old, Vasco, that is 3 months, 1 horse and 1 pony, and 1 dog. And I'm married to Charles.
Yes, I'm Charles. I am an entrepreneur as well, born and raised in Paris. And we decided to move to Ericeira once we had our first kid to get closer to the nature and to the ocean.
I wanted to have the first birth in Paris because of the barrier language. I was a bit afraid to give birth abroad. But as soon as she was 2 months, we took the car, all the animals, and drove to here.
Yeah, so your first child was born in France. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, sure. So I'm very lucky with pregnancy. I have perfect pregnancies. I always felt amazing, worked until the very end. After some research while being pregnant, I already knew I wanted to give birth naturally without epidural. So I found a maternity that is well known for that in Paris. But nothing happened like I wanted. I had a very precise idea of how it was supposed to happen, and I prepared myself for that, but of course, it didn't happen.
Did you have support during your pregnancy, maybe from a doula or a midwife?
So not really. In France, we have like 10 sessions of preparation that you can do that is supported by the government, but I didn't really found them that useful, at
Okay.
least the one I did, because it was super vague. I think that maybe what was easier with the second one, even if I didn't have much time either because I had work and the
Mm,
first baby to take care of,
Yeah.
I already knew what was going to happen after birth, so I could only
interesting.
focus on that.
And so you said nothing happened as you wished. Can you just walk us through a little bit how your birth went and what was the gap between your expectation and the reality?
I don't know if it's the Virgo inside me, but I, I had really a precise way of how it's going to happen, and I really wanted to labor in the pool because I know how water can be pain relief. But what happened is that I got the first contractions. It was
Yeah.
like noon on a Saturday. So the power of the mind, because we are entrepreneur, none of our client knew I was pregnant. So I really didn't want to deliver during a weekday. But it was a beautiful day in November. It was noon. It started. Yeah, and what is funny is that because it was also a super sunny day, you were with the dog and you ran into a friend of us, and they just start to take some beers on the terrace. A first beer, second beer. It's sunny. You get dizzy. But you did very well after. But I at 7, I was like, I
Yeah.
think you might have to come home because it's getting stronger and stronger. And the first mistake I did, because I did a lot of mistakes, the first mistake I did, I knew it was going to be long, so I was thinking you have to rest. But I was laying
Mhm.
on my bed watching a movie, so I was not helping her
Yeah.
getting down. First mistake. Also, I went to the shower way too soon. So hot shower, that's like magical, at least for me, how a pain relief it is. But I stayed super long. I did not plan to have like, I don't know, like a plastic stool or something to sit down. And also I was, yeah, super tired of of standing up too long.
Okay. Yeah, because we usually
Mm.
we say that's kind of a bonus that we want to keep for later when the pain is starting to be really like stronger, and you feel like maybe it was a bit too early in your labor.
Exactly. Way too early in the labor. And so when the contraction escalated a bit,
I
it
understand.
was super difficult.
Yeah, you didn't have the tools left. And it also sounded a bit like you wanted to be more like present in your body, but you were still very much in your head. Is that correct?
Completely. And I was
Yeah.
just thinking about, oh, we have 30 minutes to go to the maternity, when we have to go there. So I was calling them, this is happening. And they kept saying,
Mm.
oh, if you want natural birth, stay at home, stay at home, stay at.
Mm.
And at some point at midnight, I had contractions every 3 minutes, super strong. And I knew I had the birth pool at the maternity, so I was going to be able to move. I would have midwives with me because Charles was not like, he's not a doula, at least at the time.
Not for this one.
So yeah, I was feeling a bit too much by
Mm.
myself. Um, and so at midnight, I said, okay, but can I come now? I mean, I think I'm ready. And they said, ugh, really, if you want, come. I was a bit annoyed. When we arrived, we waited 30 minutes in the waiting room, and we
Wow.
understood when they let us in that they were completely full. It was not a full moon.
Okay, quickly breaking into the episode here. Because this is something we are seeing more and more across Europe right now. Yes, you heard it right. Europe. There's a real shortage of healthcare workers, and maternity wards are often running at full capacity. So if you call a hospital and they sound rushed, or you arrive and have to wait, that is not because they don't care. It is because the system is genuinely under pressure. And is one more reason why knowing your options, but also, for example, having a doula and for sure having a plan B actually matters. Okay, back to Giulia.
We don't know what happened this night. They were completely full.
Yeah.
Mm.
And how was this all for you, Charles?
Well, we have this like
Yeah.
preparation session with Julia, so you kind of know what to expect. But for the first one, it's like always unexpected. So I trusted Julia, and it's hard to realize because you don't feel the pain, don't feel the contraction, you don't know how much close you are to like the Giulia giving birth. But the thing is, it felt when we arrived at the hospital that when we were already waiting in the waiting room, that it was about to go take a long time. But still, I still felt like a bit, I'd say, outside the moment, since you don't really realize, okay, it's going to happen because it can take some hours. It's still the beginnings. It felt a bit weird. Like I was not really into it.
Yeah, you were not completely into it also because you were tired. Like you spent the day doing so many things. You got the beers under the
Yeah.
sun. It was already midnight. That's also normal.
Mm.
And I went crazy when so they took us in and we have to walk through a corridor. And because maternity that is specialized in natural birth and they were full, we heard I don't know how
Oh
many
no.
women
Oh yeah, I knew
Oh
screaming,
no.
that.
and I panicked. And they put us in a room that is not even like a laboring room, but the
Okay.
delivery room
Okay.
with no pool.
Oh.
And I was like freaking out. Yeah. Where
I
is the
can
pool?
imagine.
I cannot do it without a pool. I cannot do it without a pool. And so I was panicking so much that they said, okay, we found a solution. Because I don't know, they could have said, this woman is at this stage. It can take 2 to 3 hours. Stay here, do some yoga, use the yoga ball or whatever. Don't worry, you will have the pool. But no, because I don't know, maybe then you need to clean
Yeah.
it. I don't know how it works. They didn't say anything. They just said, okay, we found a solution. And they put us in like, what is, in my mind, a closet. And in this closet, you have a super tiny bathtub, but super tiny, even
Oh.
tinier than
Okay.
a regular bathtub. Charles had only just a chair. We were in the dark. And I stayed in this bathtub for 8 hours,
Wow.
screaming, not singing,
Oh no.
screaming at every contraction. The song I learned just 2 days before, like a crazy to do like quickly, like aloha, aloha, on the contraction, and I was like,
Yeah.
well, for 8 hours straight. I don't know how long I would have lasted without, because still I stayed like 8 hours in this bathtub and completely say I was in a laying position, so I was not helping the baby at all. And I was just like, either I was putting my arms up so Charles could pull them up to help me, or I was putting my knee so he could
Yeah.
Massage.
push the
Okay.
knees.
And did you have any regular visits from the midwives?
But no, because they were completely they had so much work
They were
and
super busy. Wow.
super busy. And so we had no explanation of anything. It was also another, I don't know if it's a mistake, but I didn't want to know how open I was. I didn't want to have the number because I was afraid that if it's super strong and they told me, oh yeah, you are like 4, I was not going to be able to continue. And I know that also it can happen super quickly.
Yeah.
But in order to make it to happen quickly, you have to be like not chill, but a bit relaxed, which was not my case.
No.
And yeah, at 8 on the morning, 8 a.m., they said, okay, it's time now. You can go out. And so I saw that it was the moment because I didn't know how open I was. So maybe she checked. So maybe I was like, okay, maybe I'm 10. So no more pain. I went out of the bathtub. I ran. I walked super quickly. Of course, and I was not running, but I walked super quickly through the corridor, completely naked and wet. Dad was behind me with the towel. Like, you don't want a towel. I was like, I don't fucking care about your towel. And I jumped on the bed, like all four, and no pain anymore. I was just like an animal, no more pain, ready to push.
Whoa.
But at this time, I understood that something was not going well because I could feel that she was kicking the bassinet. And the midwives were here. Okay, so we need to do more movements to help her. And it was already 12 hours of laboring. And in my mind, I was so sure it was the right time now. that I could not do it, and I said, "Give me the epidural."
Mm. I understand. You must have been
Yeah.
exhausted and also disappointed. Like when you think you're almost there, and suddenly you realize that no, that's not it. You're not pushing now. I can imagine that it was a big, yeah, disappointment for you.
Yeah, he said, "Give me the epidural, like, I can't anymore." And so Charles has been briefed for this very well-known phase, that is the despair phase that you go through when you do it, when you deliver without epidural. But it was not that moment yet. And when I said
Mm.
it was just exhaustion. From exhaustion, I said, "Give me the epidural. I won't be able to do it properly without." Because also in this maternity, what is super nice is that they give very light epidural, so you
Yeah,
can continue to have moment.
you have walking epidural. Yeah.
And so, but Charles was like, because he has been briefed, he was like, "No, no, 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 you don't want it, you don't want it, don't take it."
Yeah, it's good. It's good because Charles, you were kind of following the birth project. You
Yeah.
knew, and so you tried your best to remind Julia what was on the birth plan.
Yeah, yeah.
And I also very much recognize this from my own first birth because my husband was briefed exactly the same thing. And he was also saying exactly the same thing because
Yeah,
he was
exactly,
like, I have one
exactly.
job
Yeah. So yeah, but I was
I need to
completely
do
crazy
that.
and too far already. And I asked the midwives, "Is it going to slow down the process? Because I know that it happens a lot, and then you have the risk of the cascade of intervention that I really didn't
Yeah.
want." And she was like, "No, don't worry, it's not going to slow down the process." But of course, it did.
Mm.
Mm.
So what happened after?
And yeah, so they gave me, so I was super late in the process, so it was super painful. And then they said, "Okay, we call the
Yeah.
anesthetist. He will be there in 20 minutes." But when you decide that you want the epidural, 20 minutes is like way too long. So I was like, "What? What?"
Yeah. You want to now.
Yeah.
When the guy arrived, he was like, "Can you sit on the bed?" "No, I have the baby head. I cannot. I cannot." So I was freaking out. But the guy, so he gave me the epidural in the end, and I was so exhausted that I fall asleep. So
Uh,
I completely disconnected from my baby.
Yeah, but you were so exhausted at that point, if I
yeah.
understand well.
Yeah, but so then the midwives were they came and they were checking more regularly because I had the monitor at this time, and so they gave me some synthesis oxytocin to help the baby go down, because of course, because I was so exhausted, I was still laid on the I was laying on the bed. I was not doing the movements I could have done.
Hmm.
And so yeah, at some point they gave me synthesis oxytocin. And it has been like more than 12 hours now, and so I think the baby was getting also tired, the heart rate was not good, and so they came in and told us, If you don't push in the next 15 minutes, we will have to do a C-section." S
How did that feel when you hear like, okay, you have to do it now and then otherwise within 50 minutes we will proceed to a C-section. How did that feel for you guys?
It was scary. Of course, you have a lot of C-sections that can go super well, and but I really wanted to have all the good stuff that you can give to the baby when they are out vaginally, and I also know it can help. At this time, I know nothing about being a mom, and I just know that it can help with breastfeeding, it can help with bonding, it can help with a lot of stuff. Also, for my own birth, my mother had a C-section, and I have been separated from her for a very long time,
Mm.
so I was a bit scared of that too. I really wanted to have her on me super quickly, to have the skin to skin. So yeah, I was a bit afraid of that, but I think at this point when they said you have to deliver in the next 15 minutes, I really connected with her, and like together we said, "Okay, now is the time. Let's go through it." They used do we say forceps in English?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So not to pull her, but just to make it a bit wider.
Okay.
And it works and it helped.
Oh, that's good. And then she was
Okay.
out. How was that?
It was like a mixed feeling because when they talk about the C-section, at first I was a bit
Yeah.
disappointed, more for Julia because it was very important for her, like to have like the more natural birth possible. But then everything happened fast, and I think was more some like relief that we managed, Julia managed to do it, let's say, in the more traditional way than section, and we were just like exhausted but happy that
Yeah.
we did it. It was like very different from what you expected, but closer than the C-section, let's say.
Yeah, at this moment, I was not traumatized by the birth because I was so happy she was in great health. She was good. She took the breast super quickly. It was not hurting. She was super cute.
Mm.
And again, she was healthy, and that was the most important because when they said, "Yeah, the heart rate is not good," I got super scared.
Yes, that was actually my next question is like when you look back, what stay with you from that experience and maybe also how did that shape the way you thought about birth going forward?
I think that the advice should have been maybe, at least for someone like me with my ways of working, you should have as much tools available as you can. So depending on how it's going to happen, you know what to pick. And in my toolbox, I only had water, which was not like inside me; it was an external factor, and this one song.
Yeah. Which was not singing anymore, but screaming.
Exactly. So not enough at all. Like I knew stuff, but yeah, not enough. And with the second birth, I really discovered how movement change everything. But I was a bit paralyzed, I think, by fear. So for the first one, and also I what I take out from this one is that if you do it in a traditional way, like if you want to do it in a hospital, I think it's super important, but naturally, super important to have a doula with you that stay with you all along the way and that can give you advice, that can guide you, that can even not saying what to do, but just help you reconnect with the body. I think that's super important because again, I experienced
Yeah.
the fact that in the hospital, midwives they are not enough. They are so busy. They don't have time to stay by your side the whole way. They are basically just here to check sometime if everything is going well for the baby, and you, of course, and for the delivery part. But that's basically it.
Yeah, yeah. I think the main things for you, for if I understand correctly, is the disconnection you felt in your experience in this first birth. Um, but so that's going to be interesting to see how you use it for the second birth because then your baby is 2 months old and you decide to move to Portugal. Can you tell us how it works? When did you learn that you were pregnant and expecting again?
So that's funny. So we arrived in we arrived in Portugal. She was 2 months old, and so it was like around January, and in the summer we go back to France to visit our parents. And I'm not feeling very well, but I think it's work. I have a lot of work. The baby that is not sleeping well, so super tired. I think it's more about that. And what's funny is that I'm on a beach with a friend, and she had a baby at the same time, like 2 days apart from us. And I'm saying, "Oh no, no, I'm not getting pregnant again anytime soon." What's funny is that I was already pregnant, but I didn't knew it at the time. And yeah, we were because I was not feeling well. Charles was like, "Dame, you should take a test." My mother, she was like, "You should take a test," and I was like, "No, don't say that. It's not possible. No, no, no." When Charles was
It was not on the picture at all.
and when Charles was like, "You should take a test," so then we know. Of course, the test was like positive.
Actually, I was pretty happy because I always wanted to have like close kids. Because I think, okay, it's very hard at the beginning, like two under two, but then they have the same rhythms, they play together. I think they have a lot of like nice things they can do together. So
I was like, ugh, already again. Not sure I have the energy to go through it because I knew that this time I wanted to succeed this natural birth. So I knew I was going to be super engaged in it.
So it was not actually the fact of having 2 under 2, but more, okay, I really need time to get ready for this birth. That was your number
Yeah.
one priority.
Yes, it was really like, oh, I'm going to be pregnant again. But pregnancy, I'm super lucky with that. It felt amazing all the time. Of course, a bit of nausea, but that's it. But no, yeah, it was the birth. It was really the birth. Oh, I will have to prepare. I was already stressed about it a bit, knowing that like, how am I going to do? I have so much work. I have the horses. I have the 1 year old. She was not even 1 year old. She was 9 months at the time. She was not sleeping well. I was a bit overwhelmed.
You were still breastfeeding at 9 months? Yeah.
That's funny because yes, I was still breastfeeding, but as soon as I got pregnant, I could not mentally, I think, not physiologically, everything was okay. My milk was okay, but we were not getting along anymore with Bianca around breastfeeding. It was getting more
Ah,
difficult. And on my
okay.
side, I felt like um, I use the image of in Harry Potter, you have these bad guys called the detractor, and they're sucking your soul. Each time I was breastfeeding, I was like, she's taking my soul. I cannot anymore. So I stopped when she was 10 months.
Yeah, and then when you're already overwhelmed and then you also have to breastfeed, it takes a lot from you. So we totally understand.
And so, Julia, I know that for this second pregnancy, you gathered a lot of data, you did your research, your homework, and you choose quite early in the pregnancy that it's going to be a home birth. Can you tell us more about it?
Yes, so I start digging about how it was working here in Portugal, the different possibilities. Like you have private hospitals, public hospitals. There is not really much, I think, birthing center, or I haven't found any. This is something we have in France called maison de naissance that are great because it's a middle. It's like you can have medical stuff and people, but the environment is very warm and friendly, like your own home. And also, I was listening to a podcast that is very famous in France called Bliss about like maternity, and there were a surfer, a woman professional surfer that gave birth by Santa Cruz, and she was telling her story, and it went super wrong because it was super medicalized, and they did not listen to her at all. Yeah, after a year, less than a year in Portugal with a baby and work, I was not at the level I wanted in Portuguese.
Yeah.
So I was not like good enough in Portuguese to be able to stand for myself in front of doctors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I started to discuss with people around, and in Ericeira, you have quite a lot of women that give birth at home. It's
Hmm.
quite common, so they reassured me. And then I start reading books about that. And I also watched a super well documented documentary in French called Faut pas pousser by Nina Naré. Really, really great with a lot
Okay.
of data and a lot of statistics. And this is what I shown to Charles, saying that I wanna give birth at home. And his first reaction was like, "Oh no."
Well, tell us about that, Charles. Tell us about that. Your first reaction.
Yeah, it was like, no, not at all. I was really not into it. But I think it's all like home birth is also something very cultural because in France, it's not common at all. I don't have any friends that have done it. I can't tell any. I think it's but when I speak with like some I spoke with a German friend. He told me, man, in Germany, Netherlands, or like Sweden and everything, it's more common. So you don't think you're a weirdo talking about this. But I think maybe I was really not aware of how it works, and just because of these cultural things. And yes, I was really against it because it was the first birth was a bit long, difficult. We are happy to have like some medical people around us just to let us know. I mean, from my perspective, that everything was fine. And we live in Ericeira, and we are like 40 minutes away from the closest hospital. So
Yeah.
if anything goes wrong, you still have to, I don't know, take your car or call some help. and you still have like 40 minutes before like anything,
Mm.
and or if you have some help.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So it was a mix of lack of models around you, but also you were afraid of the distance with the hospital. And Julia, how did you face this or that reaction? How did you manage to convince Charles to go all the way to the home birth?
So it happened in like several phases. The first phase, I was like, okay, I'm going to nourish him with data because he was you were telling me like it's dangerous. So
Mm,
okay,
yeah.
I will prove that it's not dangerous. Then, so with all the data and explaining that quite often the cascade of interventions is
Yeah.
happening because we are induced or because they gave us synthesis oxytocin or because, but if you follow what nature has been created for, no, nature knows what to do. If you follow that, everything should go smoothly. Of course, there are always cases in which it's not happening as smoothly as you want, but that's why the midwives are here. I'm not asking to do it by myself in the forest. I'm like in Ericeira with midwives.
Yeah.
Uh, we have a car that can bring us to the hospital. And I explained to Charles that midwives, they are trained to see if there is anything that is not progressing correctly to say, okay, now we go to
Exactly.
the hospital before it's an emergency.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So it's not and the only one that is going to suffer, it's me during these 40 minutes of drive, but that's my problem. But then I noticed that these counter arguments for these arguments were not enough to convince him. Well, still, it's dangerous, blah blah blah. So he was not convinced still. So then I was like, but truly, what's the real reason behind it?
You could feel that there was something else. Yeah.
And Charles, what was the real reason behind it?
But there is still this thing about the 40 minutes, but it's more like I'm not very comfortable with all the blood and all these around.
Fluids.
Flesh,
Yeah.
blood.
Coming from the body, everything.
Yeah.
So that's why I like hospitals.
He likes
But
when it's clean.
yeah. Well, yeah, and you don't know how you can react with all this in this kind of situation. So this was a big, um, let's say, thing that really prevent me from saying, okay, let's do home birth.
Yeah. Were you maybe afraid you were going to faint or just something like that?
No, it's more the feeling of not being able to do it.
Okay. Yeah. So, Julia, you heard this argument. What did you say?
So then, so this, I said, okay, I mean, this is very subjective. I cannot argue, I cannot say anything against it. So don't worry, Charles. We will have two midwives, which is a
Yeah.
luxury. We'll have two midwives with us. They are going to take care of everything. So if you are not at ease, which of course I understand with blood, flesh, stuff like that, and also with me screaming because of course the first burst was not the best experience. I kept like insulting him all the time. So I know that.
Maybe Charles also has his own trauma
Mm.
from the first birth.
More than the first, maybe.
Yeah, probably. And so of course, okay, let's take this information and let's work around it. So we will have the two midwives. You are going to meet the midwives. We are going to brief them, saying that you want to have this part and not another one.
Yeah.
Our two midwives were extraordinary. They were not judgmental at all. Of course, I will give you all the names so other moms can reach them.
Amazing. Yes.
They were super supportive with you, saying no worry, like really no judgments. So you were super comfortable.
Mm.
And so Charles' role was okay. You are not going to see anything. You are not going to be the kind of father that is with me in the pool, massaging me, saying that, oh, how amazing I am, stuff like that. But
Yeah.
you are going to take care of Bianca, take care of the dog, make sure that we all have food because it will last hours. So make sure we have food. Make sure the pool is hot. All these kind of
Yeah.
stuff that are
Yeah, the logistic and the comfort of everyone, and yeah,
Yes.
he had his own roles that was a bit more external. Let's put it like this. But yeah, it seems, Julia, that you didn't have very strong expectation around Charles' role, and it was okay to just evolve and go his way as well.
I respected his point of view, and I was also what I didn't say previously is that before asking him what's the real reason, I was like, "But you know what? You are against it. I don't care. This is my body, my choice. So I will do it anyway."
Yeah.
But then, so it was a bit harsh. So then I reached a bit to him saying, "What's the real reason? Let's talk about it and let's find a way that this," because I really
Yeah.
wanted this moment to still be a nice moment for the both of us. It's like
Mm,
the birth of a new soul. It's a magical moment. So let's make it nice and not difficult for him and for me. I didn't want any resentment or any negative feelings around it. So
Yeah.
yeah, then I was okay with it. Um,
Yeah, and at least what was good is that it was clear our different roles, and so Julia, when she would like be giving birth, she would not like expect things from me I
yes,
couldn't provide.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
at
yeah,
least it was clear because it gives some extra stress for us otherwise.
of course. And so, tell us a bit more about the preparation of the birth. You say that you were supported by two amazing midwives during this pregnancy because you also just arrived in Portugal. So, how did you meet them, and what was the relationship with those midwives?
So I think I'm super lucky to have like arrived in Ericeira, which is a town that is super open-minded, and you have WhatsApp groups that are amazing. Mothers are sharing a lot of tips, and they are always available to help each other.
Wow,
That's
that's
really
sounds
really
sounds like
beautiful.
heaven.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
And so you even have moms that have like papers with midwives that are usually available around. And so one of the mother gave me the contact of these two, Sonia and Veronica. And also I just watched a comment in a WhatsApp group saying, "I just had birth with Sonia and Veronica at home. It was amazing." And she was telling a bit of her story. And so I wrote to them asking if they were okay to have a chat, and we did a video. Charles was there because Charles was there. You were there all the time at each meeting,
Mm.
and they were so warm and so reassuring, and I had a good connection with them. So we say, okay, let's go, let's do it. And the way it's done here, it's like you have several phases again, and they meet you at the beginning, they meet you in the middle, and at the end, they meet you several times. They come to your place, they visit the place. Together, you decide where you are going to put the pool, because yes, I was still focused on the pool.
Pool is your thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was, but no, in the end, it was not.
Okay, okay.
Not, but yeah. So where you put the pool, and yeah, they were very reassuring. They were super sweet. They came and they drew the baby position on my belly, but I didn't take the full package with their service as with their preparation service. It was a bit the minimum one because I was lacking time because of work, horses, baby. Was a bit lacking time. So what I did is that again I read a lot. I watched this documentary. I mentally prepared myself. I took a
Mm,
hypnobirth membership, so I was listening to her while horse riding, while taking care of the baby, while doing other stuff. But I was still giving all this information to my brain, and also because I'm a bit crazy in terms of preparation, I really prepared the room as like a sanctuary. So yeah, unlike the first verse that was I had only one tool, which was the pool. Here I really wanted to have several. So I had, of course, the pool. I had this time movement on the ball. I knew also that I was not going to be able to stand too much because the way the contractions are hurting me, I like to be a bit on something.
Yeah.
So on the so I found movement and position I could do on the bed that was okay,
mhm.
was good for me and the way I'm working. Also, I had so the hypnobirth. I had a playlist of nice music. I have candles everywhere. I had like yoga mats, so if I want to do movement on the floor, it's still comfortable. And on the wall of the room where like you had a mantra, you had drawings of the baby getting down and the exact
Mm.
position the baby takes, the rotation. So I was trying to visualize.
Very nice, very nice. And so you get extensively prepared. You have the room, the mantras, everything. Maybe Charles, what role did you play in the preparation? Because you already knew your role, but I also heard that you were there for every single appointment with the midwife. So how did that go for you?
Yeah, so on my part, I was like listening to what Giulia shared in
Mhm.
her to learning how to give birth, to give home birth. But I was not as proactive as her, to be honest. I was like listening to what she's saying, maybe trying to learn a bit from what she said, but I was still like maybe in a sense, I think I was trusting her path to on that journey. But mostly Julia did everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he made sure I could do it. Like he was doing the grocery stuff, he was doing his cooking at lunch, he was like I don't have much free time, but the free time I had, I was able to prepare because he
Yeah.
gave me this. He was allowing me to have this moment, and also yeah, I can get quite intense in my preparation. And yeah, what I did, I forgot to mention also what was in the that is funny for the rest of the story. In on the wall was the different phases and the average time each phase lasts. So this one is from 4 to 5 hours. This one is from X to X hours, and
Ah.
so I could like mentalize and say, okay, don't worry, you're going through it. It's going to happen. This is normal and stuff like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
so oh, and one thing also that is a tip that I could not experience, but you said that contractions are waves, and so and I was going to be in the pool, so I had a projector on a YouTube channel with on an island with waves, and the sea and the sound of the sea and the waves on the beach.
Beautiful. It's
That's
perfect.
nice.
This idea is brilliant. I could not experience it, but this idea is brilliant.
And Julia, I just have a
Yeah.
last more technical question before we dive in the birth. Because so the system in Portugal, did you have any other medical appointment with an obstetrician, maybe a family doctor? Like, how was that for you? Were you at the Centro de Saúde for the follow up?
So I don't have a family doctor because in Ericeira we are a lot of expats. And so they don't have enough. So when you can go private, you go private. And but still, I don't, I don't have one. I found an obstetric. Same, I will give his contact. He is amazing because he is really okay with home birth. So he
Okay.
was really supporting about that. He even asked me, "Did you found your midwives already? Do you want me to give you contact?" So he was really, really nice about that.
Very nice. Right. So then I think we all want to know how this burst unfold. Can you take us through the verse itself? What happened and how did you experience it?
Yes, so the due date was like, I think it was like March 31st or something like that. It was on a Sunday, and on the Monday, I had like 4 hours meetings with new clients. It was a crazy day at work. So I kept saying to the baby, please wait few days, let me have this meeting, please, please, please. I mean, it was the due date was, but still, because still, I planned these meetings because you never know when it's going to happen. I said, yes, let's
Yeah.
plan this 4 hours meeting with 70 people. Sure, let's do it. And so
Why not? Yeah.
I was with my huge belly behind the screen, but of course, because it's a screen, no one sees it. The meeting went well, and then I was like, "Okay, it's good now. You can arrive. You can come." After,
Yeah.
"Okay, you can come," but I had no sign. And the next weekend, so 1 week after the due date, I was like calling the midwife saying, "Maybe we should do something. Do you want to come to monitor the baby?" And there is a question they ask at this point that I'm not comfortable with, which is, "Do you feel the baby moving like he's used to?" And I don't know, like, I'm doing so many stuff during the day. I'm not checking how much he moves. So now I'm freaking out because I don't know if he's moving like he's used to. So I think this is quite scary. I know it's super important, but because I was a bit scared of that, I was saying on the Sunday evening I was super tired, no sign at all. It was on. We
Mm.
were on the 5th of April, and I wrote to midwife saying maybe you can come during the week to have to monitor. And I was like, it was 9 p.m. I said, okay, I'm exhausted now. I will talk to you tomorrow morning to find a date. But this night at 11:30, I woke up with contractions, and I did the check, which is to see if it's real contractions. You go into the shower, hot
Okay.
shower, and if contractions continues, it's real one. And of course, because I was thinking about my pool, I want as much
Yeah.
hot water in my pool, so let's not waste any hot water in the shower. So it was super quick, but even if it was super quick, I already had like 2 contractions.
Yeah.
Uh, I was like, "Yes, I'm going to leave Charles sleep so he has a nice night. He will be in a good shape, in good form for the day because it's going to be super long." So I just wrote to the midwives, "Hi, I just did the shower test. I think it's starting. It's 11:30." And they replied directly, "Okay, great. Let's keep in touch."
That's a great strategy.
I
Yeah.
love how we like it's a very common story from the moms how we are all super concerned of our husband's sleep and that to make sure they rest and
Yeah.
I love that we are starting the contraction and it's like okay let's make sure he sleeps well.
Yeah. But Charles, how were you feeling? Were you excited for the birth, or were you still like, okay, I'm still a bit scared? How was that for you?
I think I was still a bit scared
Yeah.
because you haven't experienced it before. But I'd say I just trusted Giulia and what she has like learned before. So I said, okay, she knows it's her body. She probably knows what she's doing. So I just trusted. Let's trust the
Yeah.
process. Let's say.
Okay.
In my head, I was prepared like a marathonian.
Yeah.
Like, let's do it.
I
Going
can
to
see that, yeah.
last hour. Yeah. So I went to take a glass of water, and then I was like, "Ooh, oh, already it's quite hurting. How am I going to last that long?" So this time also in my toolbox, I had a TENS machine. I mean, this thing was amazing for me. From the community
Mm.
were kind enough to lend me one, and so I had to wake up Charles so he can put them on my back. He didn't last
So the
long.
TENS
His
machine,
rest.
just for people to understand, it's quite small and it's battery a powered device. It's attached to like sticky pads and it's you place them on the lower back and it's supposed to like the pulses. It's supposed to really help you to cope with the pain.
Exactly. Like it helps your brain to focus on something else during the contraction. So during the contraction, you press a button and it's getting a bit stronger and it's not painful at all. And it helps you. It helps your brain, like, yeah, focusing on something else. So then it helps the body to release more. I think it's dopamine.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the endorphin. The
Oh,
endorphin
endorphin.
release. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, endorphin release, thank you. So then it's less painful, and you have to. You are supposed to use it at the beginning normally because of course then you're in the water. But it's more for the beginning, so you have more endorphin released in your body. So Charles put them on my back, and when you put them, so it's not that it's easy, but when it's like midnight.
And it's very sticky.
I was already like, "Hurry, hurry." I had my hypnobirth in my ears, and the hypnobirth track I had was very zen,
Yeah.
very slow, very relaxing, but it was not my mood. I was like, "Hurry, hurry, hurry, it's getting intense." And as soon as I have this on my back, I run into the toilet because I'm like, "Okay, the body is so well done that he emptied himself before, so he has as much space as possible." So I go to the toilet and
Yeah.
I have a contraction above the toilet. I press the button of the TENS machine and phew, I broke my water above the toilet. So very clean for Charles.
Oh.
Wow. Okay. Very clean.
It escalated quickly.
Yes, and I was like, oh, I know that the water is like helps also to have less pain during contractions because it's the water is a protection that makes sure that the contractions are less harsh. And so when I lost the water after like 20 minutes, no 30 minutes, I'm like, am I going to last
Mm.
like hours without the water inside? But okay, focus, let's do it, no worries. So I'm like, Charles,
Yeah.
put the pool. It has to be ready soon. And I still have this super relaxing song in my ears, and I'm like, I remember at this moment that there is a track that is called Fast and Intense, and I'm shouting to Charles, I think it's going to be fast and intense. I am on the bed with a cushion, that I squeeze, and I still do the movements, like 8 movements. I don't have much in my toolbox, but I have like at least one of each that I practice so much that is automatic. It became automatic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And Charles has like there is just the pool over the floor. Like you put it and he start putting some air in it. So I had, I don't know, 2 contractions. I again want to go to the toilet. I was like, oh, again, it's okay. My body is empty. It's like midnight. I didn't eat. Leave me alone. Can I?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, exactly.
I go to the toilet again, thinking I'm going to poop, basically, and I feel I feel what I immediately recognize as the circle of fire.
Mhm. Yeah, the ring of
Uh,
fire.
the ring of fire, you
You
said.
could, yeah. So yeah, you were this time way more connected to your body actually, because I mean, it was really intense, but you knew it would be fast. You knew your body was telling you that.
Yeah, but still, I think I was thinking I was going to poop at this time. I knew it was going to be fast, but not that fast.
Yes, I remember for Bianca, the first kid, it was like 17 hours. So I told myself it should be faster. She's gonna give birth like around 8 in the morning. So I remember like I didn't rush myself. I starting to install the pool. I answered some WhatsApp message from friends. I remember, okay, myself when I was like inflating the pool. Should I put the water now? Because if I put it too early, maybe the water will get cold. So I couldn't say. Yeah, you just like maybe we have a couple of hours in front of us. So I was not in a rush, not
And
in a
then
rush.
Julia started screaming, fast and
Yeah.
intense, fast and intense.
And then I remember, so there is one thing when really the birth is happening is the screaming of the woman change. Like it's
Yeah.
very different and you can just recognize it. And I remember I was like, I heard the Julia screaming change and I say, okay, it's happening now. Like I had no doubt at all.
You
Uh,
knew, okay.
yeah, it's really the only thing I was like 100% sure about is the change in the screaming. Uh, I remember on the first, like, training lessons you have for the first kid, all the steps of the birth, and I really remember that one. So when I heard that scream, I say, "Okay, it's gonna happen now." I tried to send a WhatsApp message to the midwives, but with the intensity, I just didn't send it. I didn't have time to, like, press the arrow button, and I arrived, in the bathroom, and the baby was not there yet. But Julia was, like, standing,
Above the toilet.
above the toilet, and I saw it was coming, so I arrived and so the head pops out, and then second, like, push, the body
Wow.
just grab it and make sure the baby breathes, and then I put it on, Julia's, body.
Wow, that
But
was
Yeah.
whoa.
so fast.
Yes.
Like, how do we call those babies? It's like it's like it's a
A rocket.
slippery baby, a
Yeah,
rocket
Yeah,
baby.
slippery. Yeah, slippery baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
Because I was sitting on the toilet, and when I felt the ring of fire stand up, and I
Yeah.
start shouting, and I put as a reflex my 2 hands just out of my vagina, so it could protect the head of the
Yeah.
baby because I
Mm.
had clue how, I don't know, how big it was going to be, but I really didn't want it to hit anything in the bathroom. That is a tiny
Yeah.
bath. And so I had my 2 hands, but when the baby's head reached my hands, then I had no more hands for the body. And so I didn't have time to panic, but Charles had a great reflex to jump and catch and he caught the baby body that was very slippery. I did not even push. This is what's crazy.
Yeah.
In French we say the word like démouler. It's unmold. I don't know how you say
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Like you remove a cake from its
Yeah.
plate. And this is also a great tip a friend gave me during the process. She told me if there is one thing you need to practice is when you go to the poo poo, don't push. Practice not to push. And this is how you can try to give birth. And actually, I didn't think about it at all. But what is very funny is that yes, I didn't push. The body did
Wow.
everything by itself.
Yeah, because we all visualize the birth being a moment where you have to push very hard, and it's interesting to have another story or so. And for you, it was really the breathing that worked for you and that you used, but you were not singing this time, right?
No time.
No
Because
time to
the
sing.
timeline was 11:30, you got contractions. And what time was the baby born?
So what's funny because we have the WhatsApp conversation with the midwife at 10 to 1, so midnight 50.
Yeah.
Midnight 45, Charles, because then you push the enter button. He's saying it's written, I think it's getting stronger. I think you should. You did not finish the center. And then it's written, the baby is born. And the midwife answered directly, what are the contractions getting stronger? And Charles answers, no, he's there. So the baby was there before 1 a.m.
Wow.
Because when you took your phone, so it was again 10 to 1. Before we sent this message to the midwife, we had time too. So he put the baby on me. We tapped the back to make sure he was screaming. So Charles had this reflex too.
Yeah.
Make sure, like I think we were in the O for 1 minute. We were like looking at each other. And then he went to take his phone, take a picture of the Dexter bathroom, a picture of me with the baby completely astonished, and then we sent the message to the midwife. So yeah, it happened in less than in an hour and 30 minutes.
Wow. And so wait, so Charles, like right now you completely shifted the role that you were supposed to have, which was at the beginning more like a second play role, and then you're the main actor, uh, really here to welcome your baby. How was it for you? How did you feel?
Yeah, I completely changed role. But to be honest, at the moment, I didn't panic. It didn't feel like disgusting with all the blood and everything. It's just like instinct. You have like a tunnel vision. Okay, he's gonna give birth. Let's do it. And afterwards, you say, "Oh wow, that was intense." But it's more like hard to explain. It's very instinct. Just 100% focus, and you just do it, and you just make abstraction of everything around.
And what is funny is that Charles, who didn't want to see any of that flesh, blood, and stuff like that, he saw the head popped out. He then put the baby on me. He saw me on a gynecologist position on the bed. He checked if everything was okay while waiting for the midwives. It took a bit like an hour for them to come. So he checked everything, and during one check, you noticed that the cord was cut. We don't know how it happened, but the cord was cut. So then you called the midwife again. We did a video. He sent pictures, so I have all these pictures in my my media library on my phone. So you took a picture and you sent it to the midwives, and then you do a video, and they were like, "You can have a lot of blood. You should clamp the cords."
Okay.
So
Okay.
go take like hanging clothes stuff
Yeah, yeah.
to put it on the mom's cord and on the baby's cord. And when you are not is with blood and stuff like that, a cord is not that nice to look at.
No.
But you did
Yeah.
it without fainting, without you did everything like perfectly. And so the midwives happened. And the midwives came, and 1 hour later, and they helped me deliver the placenta. And they checked the baby, was fine. I was fine. Charles was fine. The dog was fine. Bianca never woke up. And
Perfect.
yeah, they they cleaned the bathroom, so we did not have to worry about that.
Wow.
They offered us, "Do you want us to cook anything? Do you want to drink anything?" Like luxury. And we were like, "No, no, we're good." And yeah, at 2 a.m. we were sleeping in our bed in our own bedroom.
Oh,
That
wow.
was
It's unreal. It's so unreal.
Yeah, basically, it's first contraction at 11:30 and 4 a.m.
yeah, 4 a.m.
Everybody was sleeping, house was clean, and we woke up at 7 like every day, but just a new baby in the house,
And you were a family of 4 humans,
Yeah,
just like
Whoa.
this.
exactly.
just like this.
So, Charles, we can hire you as a midwife now the next time when we give birth. That's nice to know. um, but I'm also curious, also from your perspective, looking back now, what would you want other couples to know? Especially couples where one partner is maybe drawn to a home birth and the other is hesitant.
It's a tough one because I think at the end of the day, it's still the wife's choice. It's the wife's body, so you just need to trust her. And it's still nature. It's still nature. We are still like human, like animals. It's in our genes to know how to do it. Maybe with all the hospital things, we tend to overcomplicate it to make it faster because of the hospital constraints and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, and how's that for you, Julia?
So yeah, for me, I really wanted to give birth naturally for a baby to feel connected to him this time. But I also wanted to feel this superpower every woman has inside her. And what is funny is that after this birth, I really thought that this superpower was going about strength, about enduring pain, about something very difficult. And in the end, our superpower is just when you trust and when you let it flow, everything goes so
Yeah.
smoothly. And it's more about superpower, not of me, but of nature and the way the body is built and how everything works together when you let it actually do the way it is supposed to do. Makes sense.
And
Yeah.
would you just to understand, like, with now this experience, would you still advise couples to get prepared as much as you did, because it was a lot of research, of preparation, of preparing the room, or would you do it more simply?
This is so. I think the most important, maybe the first thing to do when you want to, when you envision doing a home birth, is getting to know yourself and the other person. Like, I think this is how I work. I know that to be relaxed, I need to be over prepared. Um, Also, I think that what worked well is that because I respected Charles' wish, which was not being
Yeah.
as involved as I wanted at the beginning, like being in the pool with me, telling me how amazing I am, stuff like that. But in the end, he did an even greater job. And I think it's also because it went so smoothly because I respected him and what he wanted to do.
It's a beautiful clothing. Thank you so much, guys, for being here today and sharing your story with us.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
guys.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thanks for listening to Born to Be Wild, the podcast. If you want to continue the conversation, you can find us on Instagram at borntobewild.pt. We would love to hear from you.
All sources and references mentioned in this episode are in the show notes below. And if you enjoy this episode, of course, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. It's really the best way to help us grow. See you next time!